What's going on, YouTube? I am God is my source, aka Gems. And you might be thinking to yourself, I probably wouldn't pronounce a G like that in that situation. Well, my response is, I'm a grown man, I do what I want. Everybody get into some more music today. We got Sevin. This one is called Time Go, featuring Bizzle and Eric C. Now, this song I have heard before, but I haven't heard it in a while. So let's get right into it because this song goes hard. Let's go.
For real. If it ain't mobbing, it ain't moving, baby. What are you doing with yourself? Yeah, I woke up from a vision of a lonely spark. It was placed within a prison that is only dark. And these voices from the Lord telling me go to war. Yeah, it got me feeling like I'm Joan of Arc. And if you ain't with the business, homie, don't embark. We walk by faith here, you all gonna need more than heart. I give honor to the modern day martyrs for the gospel. They are yelling when they get their melon torn apart. Yeah, they selling death to little kids. I don't feel it, biz, when they saying that it's only art. And he put me here to minister to Nineveh. I'm in it, bruh. Belly of the well, I'm playing Jonah's part. No conflict rest.
Now did y'all hear how hard that was? Like, that's my favorite line in that verse. He's saying, I'm going to minister to Nineveh. I'm in it, bruh. I love that. I love that rhyme scheme right there. But then he's like, I'm in the belly of the whale. I'm playing Jonah's part. Oh my goodness, man. Oh man. Now, belly of the whale isn't a saying, but belly of the beast is the saying. But he throw the whale in there so we can make the Jonah reference. Oh, that bar goes hard right there. I love that. I love that. Let's just take it back. Let's just take it back.
Don't embark. We walk by faith here. You all gonna need more than heart. I give honor to the modern day martyrs for the gospel. They are yelling when they get their melon torn apart. Yeah, they selling death to little kids. I don't feel it, biz, when they saying that it's only art. And he put me here to minister to Nineveh. I'm in it, bruh. Belly of the well, I'm playing Jonah's part. No conflict resolution on a battlefield. Nah, avenger of the faith. I got a warrior's heart. And if shield got my back, plus I keep that iron, man. In essence, I am Tony Stark.
Okay, I think I've mentioned this before, but I am a huge Marvel Comics fan. That man said, if S.H.I.E.L.D. got my back, plus I got that iron, man, in essence, I am Tony Stark. That line goes hard. Oh my gosh. And I don't know if he meant it like this, but when he said "Shield got my back," that very well could be a reference to the shield of faith, because he did mention faith earlier in the verse. Now I don't know if he did that on purpose or whether he was just saying shield as in, shield from Marvel, but he could have said anybody had his back. He could have said if Cap got my back or something, I don't know, Captain America or something. He could have said anything, but he said shield. I think he was doing that on purpose. I think he was using the shield of faith right there. That is a hot bar right there, man. We know Sevin go hard, though. We know. Let's get back in there.
To the wheels pop, and I'ma roll it to the rim crack. Time waits for no one, so I don't waste time. On my grind, homie, I pin that. I get it in till there's none left. If you ain't with the business, homie, stay clear. Every one of my hogs is from the heartland. So get down and get drowned in Cape Fear. Bizzle, ready for the war, dog. Never bound to the pope, but a whore, dog. Mind clear, through the line clear when the Lord call. Post up on the block like a pick where they hit you with a tech if you run up on a court, bro. They knock us in the cave like we animals. So we run up in the cave with the antidote. Trying to dodge bull like a matador. I hear they hating on the squad, but they don't even matter though.
Okay, it's really hard for me to not just rap these bars out. I'm trying to hold it in so I ain't talking over it. Listen, man, because Bizzle was just going hard from jump. I mean, he said, post it up on the block. And that's on the block in basketball, that's on the paint. And then I can't remember. He said something about a pick. I don't know what he said, but he said they hit you with a tech if you run up in the court wrong. So there's a technical foul for the basketball reference, but then there's a tech, as in like a tech 9 for gun for the street reference. It hit you with that double entendre. You know how I love wordplay. Y'all know this now. Y'all know that I'm a sucker when you hit me with some metaphors. Bizzle, you can't be doing me like this. Then I forgot what he said. I'm gonna just have to run it back.
It's hard, and if you got my back, plus I keep that iron, man. In essence, I am Tony Stark. Yeah, we gon' ride it till the wheels pop, and I'ma roll it till the rim crack. Time waits for no one, so I don't waste time. On my grind, homie, I pin that. I get it in till there's none left. If you ain't with the business, homie, stay clear. Every one of my hogs is from the heartland, so get down and get drowned in Cape Fear. Bizzle. Ready for the war, dog. Never bow to the Pope, but a whore, dog. Mind clear, through the line clear when the Lord call. Post up on the block like a pick, where they hit you with a tech if you run up on a court, bro. They lock us in the cage like we animals. So we run up in the cage with the antidote. Trying to dodge bull like a matador. I hear they hating on the squad, but they don't even matter though. Cause they ain't out here with the have-nots. They behind the doors with the padlocks. Trying to tell us how to do what they don't do. I guess everybody bored on their laptop. Whole team winning this year. Made that known in the beginning this year. Rap game don't know how to deal with this year. But everybody living gon' feel it this year. Real talk. Yeah, we gon'.
That's the thing. Rap don't know what to do with this. Let me tell you something. Other rappers in the game know about Christian rappers. Some of these guys have the respect of mainstream artists, but they can't talk about it. And we know why. We know, I hope you guys know how wicked the music industry is. But they can't really talk about it. You know? I mean, and not that they would really have a reason to either. There's really no reason to, like, I mean, unless you were making like a some type of a gospel type song for whatever reason. There's no reason for the mainstream artists to bring up any of the Christian artists, you know, and they're not operating in our world. So I'm not saying that they're trying to keep us down or anything like that. Not the artists, the industry for sure, because that's the way of the world. That they don't want God's kingdom to rise, to build, you know. They don't want God's kingdom to influence the world. That's the plan of the enemy. Music is one of his strongest tools. Music is powerful. So I mean, that's the one thing. But as people, these mainstream artists know, and have some of them have the respect of these mainstream rappers. I mean, because I've heard some of these rappers talk about them. So they know that they exist. Like, for instance, when Bizzle was going at Jay-Z, I can't remember what song it was, but Jay-Z made mention of Christians attacking him. That had to be Bizzle, because I don't know anybody else. I mean, granted, there were like people making videos, like just talking about him, but Bizzle was going at him. I 100% believe that Jay knew about Bizzle, but Bizzle came at him hard. So it would have done him no good to respond to Bizzle, because Jay's at the top. Bizzle was unknown unless you're in the CHH circles. You wouldn't even know who Bizzle was. But if Jay had responded to him, he would have given Bizzle a platform and taken that L. And he's not going to do that. And believe me, he would have took that L. There's a lot. As great as Jay-Z is as a rapper, and a lot of people hold him as the GOAT. As great as he is, when it comes to beef, you know, getting into a battle with another artist, He takes a lot of L's. I mean, obviously he took one to Nas. Some would say he took one to LL. I don't even know if he responded to LL, to be honest. But LL's throwing some shots, and crazy as it is, LL Cool J ain't the one you want to go back either. Like he does beef. He's done plenty of them. But Jay might have responded to him. I just don't remember. This is so long ago, man. So the point is he's not going to give Bizzle a platform, give this man a platform just so he can take an L. So it's in his best interest not to respond back then. So I mean, it's just the way it is, you know. Unless we get this music out here, it is. I'm telling you guys, with platforms like YouTube and whatever other media platforms there are, social media platforms too, all of that. It's really up to us to push this music out there so that more people hear it and it can become at least a part of the mainstream. It don't have to be the main avenue, it don't have to be like the number one genre or anything like that, but for it to at least be recognized, because it's not even really recognized. Christian music isn't really recognized. When you have your big award shows, you might have a gospel or Christian category, but that's it. You're not gonna hear a Christian artist up for album of the year or something like that. They're gonna have. I don't even know if they break it down because I don't watch the Grammys. I don't even know if they break it down into like hip hop album of the year or pop album of the year. I don't even know if they break it down that way. But if there is an overall album of the year category for all genres, the chances of a gospel artist being in there is slim to none. I've never even heard of a gospel artist being nominated. And I mean, that's just how they kind of try to pigeonhole the Christian community. You get your category and you can't get out of it. And that's why, like, for instance, Lecrae didn't want the Christian label, because he doesn't want to be only, he didn't want to be put into this, pigeonhole. And I can understand that to a degree, but is it about your award or is it about God? At the end of the day, that's the thing about, that's how I felt about him pushing his label, not wanting to be known as a Christian rapper. It's like, think about what you're actually saying. Are you pushing away a music category? Or in the eye of the world, are you pushing away God? Because then he comes out with an album with a bunch of features from secular artists, and it's like, what does it look like to the world? It's one thing to know what your intentions are, because I think Lecrae is a good dude, and I don't think that he lost his faith or anything like that. But he likes to try to walk that fence. Let's be real. When he's speaking on, because he's got a YouTube channel and stuff like that, when he speaks about things, he tries to walk that fence. And you cannot be lukewarm out here. You cannot be lukewarm out here. You gotta pick a side. But he tries to walk that fence, and that's where the problem comes in. Lukewarm is good for nothing. It ain't good for nothing. So that's where the problem with that comes in. But I've gone on like 3 tangents. I don't remember what started this whole thing. But the point is, the overall point, we gotta push this music out so that the world knows that it exists and at least be a part of the mainstream, so that Christian artists get more recognition, because this is the music people need to hear. Some people get sad, throw on some old R&B, which just makes them feel more sad. Why not listen to something to uplift you? Because there are times where you might even throw on some R&B to try to lift your spirits up. It doesn't take whatever that sad feeling that you were feeling away. I know it. I mean, granted, it could just be me, I guess. It could be anecdotal. But that's how it was for me. I could be sad about something, put on some some music to try to lift my spirits that wasn't necessarily gospel music, and it might kind of get me into a better mood, but that sadness was still there. However, when I cut all that out and I only focused on gospel music, when I listened to uplifting music, I felt like I was really being brought out of whatever that problem was. I was really being delivered from something. That's the difference. There is way more power in Christian music, because this is the word of God in music form and in entertainment form. Why wouldn't you want that? That's the best of both worlds. Let's get into this. I've been talking for way too long.
Add it to the wheels pop, and I'ma roll it to the rim crack. Time waits for no one, so I don't waste time. On my grind, homie, I pin that. I got it in till there's none left. If you ain't with the business, homie, stay clear. Every one of my hogs is from the heartland, so get down and get drowned in Cape Fear. I don't really get it, homie. Tell me what you're waiting for. The Father in heaven and already called you a couple of times. Where you in Nancy, you break your phone. Post it up in front of the window, look at everybody up on the block, but you're afraid to go. You wouldn't even know what you're finna do with the gift that they giving you to spit it. You ain't afraid to flow. So tell me what you hesitate for. Look at everybody be sleeping up in the freezing cold. Knowing that you got a couple of jackets sitting up in the closet, where you ain't finna take them loose. You better be looking the way you do it. You finna get through. You wonder what the Father gotta do to finally do what he wanna do. What you gotta take away, forget to finally get up and make a way to go. Why you wasting time? Knowing you're looking at what I'm looking at, homie. I know you see the signs. We both looking up at the same moon, watching the color blood red, living in the end of time. Look at every one of them earthquakes, some of the worst places. People are being left to die. You better be listening to the rumors of war looming over the dead body while the babies crying. Climate change, you better look at what the vine is bringing.
Okay, I don't even know if you guys can understand what he's saying, but he was just talking about the tribulation period. And listen, because basically since COVID, this has been, oh man, well, I shouldn't have said that word, but I doubt I can do anything with this video anyway. But anyway, since that time, the tribulation period has been a hot topic. People feeling like it's one of those plagues of the end times. Listen, this has nothing on the things that are going to happen during the tribulation period. You thought this 2020 was something? That was nothing compared to what it's going to be like during the tribulation period. You do not want to be on this earth during that 7-year period. You don't want to be here. You need to accept Jesus as your Savior immediately, as soon as possible. It is so important. We're talking about all the water of the world being radioactive, poisonous. We're talking about, water turning into blood. We're talking about earthquakes more powerful than you've ever imagined. We're talking about the sun just being so hot that it's just starting fires. We're talking about wars, beasts coming up from the bottomless pit to torture people. All of these things happening at the same time. And if you're left here, number one, you can't accept the mark of the beast, because that automatically means you're going to hell. But if you don't accept the mark of the beast, you won't be able to eat, you won't be able to make any money, any of that. And this part I'm not 100% clear on. I believe you have to survive the tribulation period to have a chance to get into heaven. That is, unless you're martyred. I think if you're martyred, you might be able to get in that way. I'm not 100% on that. But let me tell you something. I don't plan on being here. So that ain't something I'm worried about. It's not going to be a good time. You don't want to be here after the rapture. You don't want to be here. All right? But he was just dropping there. He was just talking about that in this verse. Now, he's rapping really fast. So if you're not listening very carefully, you missed it. But he was talking about how there's going to be wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and all of that. Listen, this ain't no time to waste. There is no time to waste.
Afraid to float, so tell me what you hesitating for. Look at everybody be sleeping up in the freezing cold. Knowing that you got a couple of jackets even up in the closet, where you ain't finna take them loose. You better be looking the way you do it, if you wanna get through, you wonder what the father gotta do to finally do what you wanna do, what you gotta take away for you to finally get up and make a way to go. Why you wasting time? Knowing you're looking at what I'm looking at home, and I know you see the signs. We both looking up at the same moon, watching the color blood red, living in the end of time. Look at every one of them earthquakes, some universe places, people are being left to die. You better be listening to the rumors of war looming over the dead bodies while the babies crying. Climate change, you better look at what the violence bringing. You finna be able to hide your check, cause all over the world I currency finna get parody. See you better get ready, cause it's about time to bang. Saying it's slipping up at the hourglass, homie, you remember you're the one that said it loud and clear. Christ coming back soon, tell me what you finna do, cause I'm getting sick of spitting this rhyme in front of the mirror. When Christ almost here, you made a mom already. Yeah. Tell me where's the time go? If Jesus ain't the reason that you're running for, don't waste away your life chasing for gold. I pray that he would take away your blindfold. So tell me where's.
All right, so that's it right there. He's just gonna sing that and write it out. So they ended that whole thing talking about ain't no time to waste. Don't be out here living blind, chasing money, and you miss out on Jesus. That's what Sevin was just singing at the end right there. Eric C was talking about the tribulation period in his verse, and the signs that you'll see before the time, and then he rapped a little bit about what's going to happen during the time. It's going to be crazy. If anyone who watches this and you don't know about the rapture or what it's going to be like after the rapture, I advise you to look that up. There's plenty of videos about the tribulation, but one person I subscribe to, his name is I think he's a pastor, but he does a lot of stuff on YouTube. His name is Isaiah Saldivar. Recommend you check out his channel because he is currently talking about the end times, and he just put out a couple live streams recently. So I invite you to listen to that because he does a good job of explaining the end times, and it's a nice wake-up call. Some people, like me for example, I get real motivated when I start hearing about the consequences of not living the right way. Those consequences scare you straight. Because listen, the Bible ain't gonna lie to you. It ain't gonna lie to you. If it's in there, it's gonna happen. That's all I got to say about that. But let me know how you guys felt about this song in the comments. I know I talked a ton in this one, and I apologize if you wanted to enjoy the music more, but I have to give you guys the information. I gotta let you guys know, at the end of the day, this is about saving souls, discipleship, and a part where I feel that I can kind of be a disciple and make disciples is with like spreading this music. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do here. And as I was saying earlier, I feel like the more we put this out, the more we can build God's music and get God's message out there. Because at the end of the day, it's good music too. But the world doesn't even know. A lot of people don't even know Christian hip hop exists. They don't know it exists. And not only that, I was listening to Track Stars. I don't know if you guys watch that channel or listen to their platform. I don't know if it's podcast or whatever, what. But they were recently talking about in marriage, having music for your marital time. And you want to put on some sexy music when you and your spouse are about to get to that time, and people are like, but can you listen to music about God during that time? And to me, I'm like, yeah, me and my wife, we got a whole playlist of love songs that are Christian, love songs. Ain't no cussing, Ain't nothing crazy. Ain't no exploitation. None of that. It's just good music. Good rhythm. You know, and it's for that. For that time. Listen, there's music for every occasion. I got all kinds of playlists. Listen, man. I keep saying it. This music is everything you need, everything that you want from the world. Their music it's all here too. It's all here in the Christian world too. We got to put this out there, guys. So hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know how you felt about it in the comment section. All right? Be blessed.